right now. So yeah, you should be started. Yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, just started. Uh, Usually I talk with the friends. We don't
Okay.
usually do any intro or outro, that kind of stuff. We just talk, just like now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. What do you want to talk about? I thought last time you got something you want to talk about in the podcast. It is like
Um.
you said about to be a immigrant in the UK or some.
Oh yeah. 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 I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Being
we
an
can talk
immigrant
about.
in the UK.
Yeah, you can talk about
Yes.
it.
Let's go
We
for
can
that.
talk
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, that is a very fun topic. Yeah. So what what kind of stuff do you think? How do you feel being an immigrant in the UK?
I think a lot of times, as an immigrant in the UK, there's a period of settling that comes with being an immigrant, and during that period of settling, you need to give yourself time
Yeah.
to get used to a lot of things. For example, no one would tell you when you're coming into the UK that you cannot rent a house or even do anything without a proof of address.
Yeah.
And those are like things that should they should be able to make it more obvious or more known to people. But quite a lot of people come here and they don't know about it until they get here. That you even need a proof of address to be able to register with a GP,
Yeah.
to open a bank account, and even to rent a house. You need a proof of address to be able to rent a house. So
That is
how can
ridiculous.
you be? Yeah, yeah. So everything is tied to a proof of address, and it's just really crazy. And another thing again is when you come, unless you are in medical or IT, sometimes it can be difficult to get your first job in the UK, and you may need to go through a lot of interviews that you would need to if you were not in the UK or if you were in your country before you can get something as a first or as an immigrant who has just come into the UK. And yeah, those are one of the areas that I think are a bit of a challenge. And then making friends also. I think
Yeah.
making friends is also another thing, especially if you are in your 20s or your 30s, where you already have your own close circle of friends that you've known from childhood and that you have had from when you were a child or a teenager, and then getting to your late 20s to early 30s or getting to your 30s, having to now make friends in a new country.
Yeah. It is
Not
very
it's not
hard.
it's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing one should consider. And some immigrants, they end up making people who come from their country or wanting to associate more with people who come from their country. They end up making them friends because it's just so easy, especially when you're at that age that I mentioned, to make friends with people who you think already understand you rather than going out of your comfort zone. But I
Yeah.
think the encouragement is that people should try and go outside their comfort zone to make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But yeah.
that's how you get to know about people more. That's how you get to know about people's culture and other ways of life that are different from what you already know.
Yeah, I think so. The renting stuff is quite. I don't know if that is um, the UK style or something. Whatever rules there are, it is always not obvious for some reason. So we we just went to Alton Tower just the past 2 days. I don't know whether you know what that is. It is like a Disneyland, that kind of stuff. So we have booked the hotel to stay a night, and in the web page it told us to book a restaurant or a car park, the parking slot, but it didn't mention that the parking slot, because because the Alton Tower, the park that we are going to is pretty far away from the hotel, but it didn't mention that we can pre-book a parking slot in the actual park instead of the hotel. So it is free for us to have a parking slot in the hotel, but we didn't know this, so we parked our car in the hotel, and we took a tram, that kind of stuff, to the actual park, which is kind of messy. So yeah, it didn't tell us the thing, and we went to a restaurant as well. So in the email, it didn't tell us to. It just recommend us to book to book a restaurant, but we didn't know it is necessary. So we went at the end of the day. We went to the restaurant. Just but they told us we have to book. So it is kind of weird, and there's actually so many seats in the restaurant, and they didn't let us to go in. That's so weird.
Wow.
So what kind of strategy is the business? I don't really understand. So this is kind of so many weird things I find in the UK. So so many rules are just hidden. So even if you ask them, they don't even bother to tell you the real answer. That kind of, I don't really understand this kind of what kind of strategy is this. Yeah, it is so weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, I think there's also something to say about customer service in the UK. I think maybe customer service is something that I think can be better in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, I would rate the UK when it comes to customer service 3/10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things can be better in general around customer service.
Yeah, I
I don't
think they have
know
no idea
what you
what they're
think
talking
though.
about. Yeah. I think in general, the people work in the UK don't know what they're doing. So when you ask them anything, they seem like they have no idea what you are talking about, and you are just like talking to the wall or something. So sometimes it is frustrating, and the waiting time is crazy. You have to wait like an hour or something to a real person. So that is just unacceptable in the
Yeah,
place
yeah.
I was born. So we are born in Hong Kong, so everything is so fast, and yeah,
Yeah.
it is quite a cultural shock for us to stand this. Yeah, it is crazy, absolutely madness to
So,
wait for an hour.
so allow me to ask, what other culture shock uh, have you had, or did you come to terms with when you moved to the UK from Hong Kong?
Um, um, let's talk about the good side. So we have talked about a lot of bad stuff, the kind of bad
Yeah.
stuff, but I think people in general are quite friendly in the UK. So I came
Yeah.
from Hong Kong, which is a very cold and kind of ruthless area. So people all thinking about themselves. We walk so fast. We barely look at each other. We barely talk. We don't care. And people in the UK seems quite friendly, at least in the surface. So yeah, especially when we have when we have children, it is quite shocking for us to back to the Hong Kong, because both of both of our son are born in the UK, right? So the first time we went back to Hong Kong with Jaden, so we can notice nobody will let us will take, how do you call it, to give seats to us for baby cram. And yeah, it is madness. And when Cassie when Cassie was pregnant with our second son, Joa, so nobody will give seats to her. So but in the UK, people will just walk, just like Moses crosses the sea, that kind of stuff, just to let her in. So this is quite mind blowing, and I think it is the thing we are quite grateful for. So people in the UK is quite humane, I would say. Yeah, just like human,
I agree.
just like human, rather than machines like us. We are more like machines than human.
Yeah, I do agree. People in the UK are quite humane and thoughtful of others, and you
Yeah.
can see that also that people expect equal rights.
Yes.
For example, when you're on a queue in the UK, the expectation is that other people will come after you, will be behind you.
Yep.
You can't just go in front of them.
Yep.
And if you dare go in front of anyone or cut off anyone, people will not take it kindly with you. And that shows that it's a society that actually values
Yeah.
equality and values organizational approach to things. They value things being done in an organized manner.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think another thing that I do appreciate is outdoors in the UK. I think the UK has made me to appreciate the outdoors and nature more,
Oh yeah.
especially because
Summer.
there are quite a lot of outdoor spaces, and
Yeah.
there are parks, there are places for you to go for a run,
Yeah.
a long hike,
True.
and that's just made me really it's given me more appreciation for nature and the outdoors.
Yeah. I think so. Especially
Yeah.
in summer. So the day is so long, and there's always sunshine, and there are so many parks, and which you can just lay on the grass and nobody really cares. And because in Hong Kong, even though there's grass, so most of them
Yeah.
are not allowed to walk in. So I don't know what kind of area is.
really?
Yeah, because there will be some kind of stuff, some staff
Yeah.
will start to bother you. Oh sir, it is not for sleeping, or this is not for whatever, so you can't be here. So I don't understand what is the grass for if that is not not for walking. Yeah, it is kind of weird. So
So if it is not for walking, what is it meant for? Can you sit on it?
I mean, sometimes yes, but sometimes no. it depends on the area. So it is kind of weird, and I find people in the UK is more non-judgmental. So they barely care who you are. They almost never looked at you in a weird way. So yeah, we can see the wheelchair or the disabled. They can comfortably just comfortably just go outside without being judged. But where in Hong Kong, people will just that kind of stuff, and people are so judgy. They don't we don't really care about the pregnant or the kids. People are just not very kind. Yeah, but yeah, we are quite grateful for the people in the UK. Yeah, they're quite friendly. I think it is the best quality, I would say. So they pretty much use the honor system as well. So when let's say you go to the GP or something, you don't even have to show any passport or some certificate. Yeah, you just
have to show.
Yeah, you just point your finger to your face. I'm that guy, and they just let you in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it seems so crazy to me. So because in Hong Kong, they have to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so many stuff.
And you know another crazy one that I will tell you about is when you're driving in the UK, you don't have to carry your driving license with you.
Oh, really? I didn't know about this.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to carry it with you. If the police, for example, stop you, if they stop you and you don't have your license with you, they could give you an address and tell you to bring your license to that address.
Oh, damn.
Like a police station or something, yeah. But you don't necessarily have to carry it with you.
Wow. That was next level.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Don't know about this. Good to know.
Yeah. So initially, I used to carry my license with me, but then, as I spoke more to people, I discovered that actually I didn't need to carry with me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I no longer do that.
I'm not gonna do this. Start from today. Okay. Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quite interesting to live.
Yeah. So if the police stop you and they ask for it, you have 7 days to provide a copy. They will give you 7 days and tell you to send a copy. You could send it via email or go drop it at a police station for them to see it.
Oh, that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that I really like is how the fact that healthcare is free.
Yeah.
The healthcare is free because one of the basic necessity that people should have access to is healthcare. Being able to have access to good healthcare to identify issues at the very early stages of one's health is really key, which is what the GPs are there for primary healthcare.
Yeah.
And it's just so wonderful.
Yeah, I would say it is quite good.
That it is free. Yeah, it is free.
But we pay the taxes.
Yeah. Of course, we do pay taxes, and I suppose the taxes we pay does mean that um, in a way we can get free healthcare. But there are still other countries also where we pay taxes and healthcare is still not free, like in the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
that's true.
People pay as much tax that you pay in the UK in the Netherlands. But still healthcare is not free. You still need to pay about 100 euros per month
Oh, really?
for healthcare insurance. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they're pretty great as well, especially when they're dealing with the elderly or the kids. They're
Hmm.
pretty quick. So my sons usually just when they need an appointment, they will usually get it
Hmm.
on the same day or the next day. So it is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I would say it is the value of of the UK to take care of the weak. It is kind of
Hmm.
the Christian value, which yeah, I think it is really good to appreciate that.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about? I don't know if you follow politics in the UK.
I don't really know about this, but you can talk about it.
Uh, I think the political system in the UK is not bad. And as an immigrant, you are allowed to vote
Hmm.
also, which I find that really interesting that you can vote even when you're not a citizen.
Hmm.
You're allowed to vote.
Yeah, the mayor, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have voted before
Uh,
as well.
yeah, I am surprised. I am surprised about that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. So that's another one that I was really surprised about. And I think another thing to also highlight is education.
Hmm.
I think there are so many schools in the UK. Yeah, there are quite a lot of, especially universities,
Yeah.
and you are spoiled for choices actually when there's a child that is planning to go to uni.
Yeah, that's true.
There are so many choices to for you to pick from,
Hmm.
and that's also a very good one.
Yeah.
Um, the secondary schools, though, I don't know. There are a lot of secondary schools, but the quality of the secondary schools varies. And I also think because of a lot of the challenges teachers face
Hmm.
in secondary and maybe primary schools, I have been reading that quite a lot of teachers are leaving the profession,
Hmm.
which is not good. And it shows also that there's something that needs to change in the secondary and primary educational system in the country.
May I know what is the reason for this? Do they talk about this?
What did you say?
Do they? What is the reason for their leaving?
Um, I think one is that they don't feel like the system supports them. Um,
Sorry, what is this?
yeah, they don't feel like the system, the way the system has been structured, is supportive of teachers.
Okay.
And I have heard of cases where teachers have faced a lot of insults and
Oh, really?
um,
Oh.
and yeah, insult from students and
Oh.
bad behavior, but they can't really do much.
Hmm.
Yeah, they can't really do much.
Okay.
They can't really do much about it, and that's an area that is quite challenging for some. And then not all of them get paid really well.
Mm.
You don't get paid much as a teacher, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, in the UK, you don't get paid much, which is why some of them move to places like the Middle East, Dubai, and
Mm.
Qatar to go teach
Mm.
because they pay them more there.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, they pay them more.
Okay. Didn't know about this.
Yeah,
So teacher actually get abused by the students. So that really suck.
yeah, they face insults basically, more of insult than abuse.
Oh,
Yeah,
insult.
yeah, yeah,
Paid wise, I think it is quite weird because education is so important because it is our future, right? So it is weird that the UK emphasize the university, but not this primary and secondary school, or that is just their filter. If you're not rich to reach the university, they just filter it out. Maybe it is kind of their strategy.
What did you say?
I said the UK prioritize on university education. Maybe that is their strategy to filter the poor, because you didn't get the filter, you didn't survive in the primary and secondary school, and you cannot cannot access to the good university education. Maybe that is kind of their strategy.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could very much be.
Yeah, they just don't really care when you are still young. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have enough resources to take care of all the people.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah, it could be. But I think something needs to change within the education sector.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, people in Hong Kong, the parents in Hong Kong are so keen on sending their kids to the UK. Actually, it is
Oh,
kind.
really?
Yeah. People always send children to the UK. It is very common when
Hmm.
yeah. So obviously, they find the education, especially the university, are very good in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, universities are good. I agree with that.
Mm.
Um, so I suppose the universities are good, but the fees are quite really expensive, especially if you're coming to study
Yeah,
as an international student.
yeah, of course.
You pay a lot of money if you're coming as an international student.
Yeah,
So
it
you pay
is.
a lot of money. Yeah. And another thing is you also, apart from the high school fees you have to pay, you also need to think about living expenses as a student, international student.
Oh yeah.
How would you survive? You need to find a job. How would you eat and pay for your rent and upkeeps?
Mm.
So schooling in the UK as an international student is not the cheapest.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, very. It's not the cheapest.
Yeah, definitely. So because eating in the UK, when you're not cooking, it is crazy expensive.
Eating, oh no, eating out is really expensive
And
in the
there,
UK.
yeah, and it is rubbish as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, just You just have
So
to cook for yourself. Yeah.
yeah, you really need to, and especially if I think for those who may be singles and they don't have a family,
Mm.
uh, it may be manageable for them financially to be eating out a lot without doing much cooking. But
Maybe
if you want to have
not.
a family,
Maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't know. At least not for
do you
me.
think it applies? It applies across board too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really 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 expensive. Even
Hmm.
though for yourself, so to have a decent meal, it takes like maybe 10 pounds or something. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, for a student it
Yeah.
is quite uh, it is almost next it is next to impossible unless your
Mm.
parents are very rich.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do wonder though, for international students, if there's much jobs for them to do here.
I have no idea. May
Mm.
maybe they are not allowed to. I guess I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. And do you? I don't know. For Cassie, what were our experiences working within the medical field in the UK as compared to working in the same field in Hong Kong?
Um, in the first place, so she's not working in the same area. So in Hong Kong,
Okay.
she's working as a speech therapist. So
Okay.
so it is kind of a new thing to be a audiologist in the UK. So she had never worked in the hospital. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it is a new thing to her. So but she would say I would say we had similar experience with the UK people. So generally, she
Yeah.
would say people in UK is nicer and
Mm-hmm.
easy to work with
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
have lower standards and kind
They have
of
lower standards.
yeah, and kind of low work-life balance stuff. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, in Hong Kong, we'll go. She will be out of work. She will be back home at maybe 8 p.m. So
Yeah.
but in the UK, so she will be off work by 6 p.m. So it is
Okay.
it is way better. So I think she had way less rest than in Hong
Okay.
Kong for far
Mm.
as I can tell.
Okay. Yeah. And I think another thing that I really like about the UK is the I think they are very generous with the number of annual leave days you get.
Oh yeah?
Uh,
How?
I get about 25 annual leave days
Hmm.
currently,
Hmm.
and those are 25 working days,
Hmm.
excluding uh leave days, excluding weekend. I mean to say,
Hmm.
when I lived in Dubai, weekends were calculated into my annual leave.
Yeah.
So
We
when
can
I lived in
account it.
Dubai, yeah, when I lived in Dubai, I had 21 days annual leave per year,
Yeah.
including weekends in that 21 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is a
So
big difference.
yeah, definitely. So you can imagine. Now coming here and realizing that actually I'm going to be getting 25 days, and they will only count weekdays in that 25 days. And if there is a public holiday, they will not count it as
Oh,
part of my
really?
annual leave. Yeah,
Oh,
public holidays are separate.
okay. That's very good.
Yeah. So you are looking at about you know, you are looking at something at about 30, 34 leave 34 days of not working in a year.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a totally different working culture between Hong Kong and UK. Yeah, we will work like madness. So we are crazy Asians.
Yeah. And yeah, the work culture is quite different, and working here has it's changed my perspective totally about work. And I don't think I will be able to lower my standards again if I go to any place or any other country to work because of
Yeah,
what I've experienced in the UK. I working here has made me realize that the standard of work can actually be good if you're in a good country or in a better country. I mean, when I in other countries where I've lived in, if my boss says something to me, I cannot challenge my boss. I cannot say I disagree. I think we should do it in a different way. But I'm allowed to do that where I work here in the UK.
yeah, same.
And those are the things. Those are the things that build your confidence. Those are the things that actually helps you to feel valued when you can politely disagree with your boss and give your own opinion, and you see that your opinion is being taken into consideration.
Yeah, it definitely give you sense of agency here, and which
Hmm.
makes you even more motivated to work. I think it is just a good thing. So
Hmm.
your boss can work less because you can do more stuff, and you can
Yeah.
feel more value as well. So it is kind of a win-win situation. So
Hmm.
uh, but I don't know about this for working for work. So I think there's no right or wrong. So I think it is just a trade-off. It depends on what stage of life are you in. So in that kind of workaholic culture, like Asians, so it depends on what types of life do you want. So some people may want to make a lot of money to build whatever things they want, but that is not my goal. So I want to build a life that I want to balance between uh, my family and my
Hmm.
work and my friends or my hobbies, that kind of stuff. So I would say working less actually works better for me. So I don't really need a lot of money to survive as well. So I think I think when I grow up, I just realized I don't really need a lot of stuff to survive.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think it
And
keep
what
you
made you
simple.
come to that realization, if I may ask?
Yeah, I just realized
How?
what what do you need for to survive?
Hmm.
You just need
Hmm.
a shelter. Maybe
Hmm.
not. You
Yeah.
just need water and some food, and
Hmm.
that's pretty much it.
Hmm.
And air is pretty much
Free.
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 Yeah. They're
And in
from
abundance.
yeah
Yeah.
they're from the tree. So until the air is not abundance, I think I will be fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of stuff. I'm not that kind of guy that I need to impress people. I already passed the stage. Yeah, when I just figured out when you have no desire to uh, to impress anyone in the world, you don't really need a lot of money. So
Yeah.
what's the difference between a Toyota or a I don't even know the expensive car name. So whatever. So I don't really need this. As long as a car can move, I can drive, so it is fine for me. So yeah, I didn't find any difference. So yeah.
And how do you think one can teach a child that sort of life lesson that you don't actually need much in life to survive or to live by?
It is easy. They just have to look at me. I'll just I
Mm.
think being a parent is not as hard as I think. So I just
Mm.
what I want to teach them. If you live the life you teach, they will, and they find it is good. It is a good life. If you live a good life, they will just automatically copy. You don't even need to say a word. So I think this mentality is from my parents. They live their life like this exactly.
Mm.
So they don't really buy any luxuries. So they live a very humble life, even though I actually think we are very poor when I was small. I don't because I didn't realize how much they earned, and because we live a very humble life, I thought we are very poor when I was young. When I realized we are not that poor, I was actually quite mad. Why are we living like this when you guys can make not a lot of money, but fair amounts of money to spend more? But uh, when I grow up, I was actually very grateful for this to to have a very humble lifestyle while earning to live way below our needs, way below how do you call it, to live below our needs, well, to spend.
Above your means, yeah.
Yeah.
Not living above your means, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a very good mentality, and I think it is quite obvious that it is a good way to live, because you will be stress free, because being in debt, and it's very stressful. You don't really want this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you are not you when you don't really need a lot of money, you actually don't have to work that hard. So if you want a easy life, just lower your desires, lower your expectation. I think it is just very obvious.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of lifestyle do
Uh,
you, do you want to teach?
I think a lifestyle that we don't deserve anything in this life, and that whatever we have is because God
Hmm.
has given it to us, and given us the grace to have it,
Hmm.
and that at the same time, if you want something, you also have to work for it.
Yeah.
And just because you've worked for it also doesn't mean that you deserve it. Because there are some people who have also worked for that same thing, but they do not have it because they are not in in an advantageous position. So I'll give an example of different people working hard for something and one person having it and the other person not having it. I'm here in the UK, I'm doing a particular job and I get paid. But I also know people in other parts of the world who do the same job, but they don't get paid as much as I do. Or some don't even get their salary when they are meant to get their salary.
Yeah.
They are being owed salaries. So, and those are two different people who are working hard, who are doing the same thing, but one person is okay in life and the other person is not okay. Doesn't mean that I am better than the person who is not okay. No, it's just because life has put me in a different place. Life has given me more advantage because of where I am, the location or the country where I am. So, what I want to teach that my child is that wherever you are, it's God that has given it to you or whatever you have. And you need to use it to also elevate others. You need to use it to the resources and what you have to also bless others and help others in any way you can. And I think that is the life lesson I would like to teach the child. Be willing to help others, be willing to raise and pull others up in life.
It is a very good lesson. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Josh. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is a very good lesson. And just like what you said, what to work with is way more important how hard you work. Just like to be in a place, be in a good, be in the right environment to work the kind of right thing that you enjoy is important as well, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy your work, you can't really last that long, or even your success, you'll be even more miserable because you feel like stuck, because you may earn a lot or you may have some social status, but in the inside you feel not in sync, not aligned with your belief, or it will be pretty miserable if you do like this. So I would say to work to do what you love is very important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there needs to be a good balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you keep how do you refresh your mind? How do you clear your thoughts to allow for new ideas to come into your mind?
How do I what, sorry?
How do you sort of, refresh your mindset? How do you refresh your mindset? How do you clear your thoughts to allow for new ideas to flow in? Sort of.
Sometimes I think I would just switch to what I would call is like observer mode. So sometimes I will just write my thoughts, just to whatever I think, I will just write it down, because when you are just thinking it, so it is, you can always bullshit yourself. So you can just, you are the easiest one to lie lie to yourself, and it is really easy to do it. But when you write it on paper, you can't really do this because you can read it. So you can just like an observer of yourself, or I would just go just just observe my thoughts. I just sit, just like meditation, that kind of stuff, to let my thoughts just float in my brain, and to see, and sometimes I would just like debate with myself. So I would say, let's say I have a thought, I'm useless. So I will debate with myself. I'm useless. Why is this? Where does it come from? Is it true? And that's kind of stuff. I will keep asking myself questions until I get, how did I get those thoughts? And are these real? So is it useful for me? If it is not, I should get rid of it. If it is useful, let me reinforce it. So this kind of things, to just basically to observe my thoughts, and to preserve the good ones and just get rid of the bad ones. Just like evolution.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll pretty much do it
How often?
do it every day.
Every day. Okay. And are there not days you feel so too tired to want to do it, or like you're so busy and booked up with other things that you don't have the capacity to do it?
Oh, probably not, because I find it fun. So I really like to do this. It is kind of one of my interests, actually. So in free time, I will do this all day long.
You do it like
I
many
will,
times a day.
yeah, I would do it many times a day, whenever I have time, because it is one of my interests. I find it is very, very fun to do. I'm actually my best friend. I really enjoy talking to myself. Yeah, because no one knows better than you. Yeah, I think, and I find it is pretty interesting. So I'll find so many good ideas, because what we have learned is just in our memories, it is full of rubbish. So you just have to clean it out regularly. So when we accumulate so many stuff for decades, so there are plenty of stuff are not good. So I think learning, in a sense, is usually unlearned most of the useless stuff. Just like the voice in our head, I will just prove it to myself what is right, what is wrong, or what is right at that moment but not relevant now. So I must get rid of it now. So
Yeah.
I think it is essential in life to filter out what is good, what is bad for you, and it will change over time as well. So what I find is useless 5 years ago, I may find it useful now. So I may take it out.
Oh yeah.
They are just a tool.
Perspective do change. Yeah.
They always change every day, every moment. So yeah, it is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well. That's some very good insights. Yeah. Perspective do always change, and I mean, what may seem totally ridiculous to us today might not feel that way in some months or few years down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it regularly is a good habit, I would say.
And when you do it, do you record it somewhere, or do you just make a mental note of it in your head?
Sometimes I will record it, sometimes I will just like what you said, just make a mental note, or I will just journal it, just write it on paper. So
Okay.
yeah, or I will just make a podcast, just whatever it is. I think this channel is just my diary. So I will
Yeah.
just whatever the thoughts I have, I will just journal
Yeah.
it. I think it is easier and better to capture my thoughts as well. Better than
Yeah.
writing because I'm lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, thank you for that.
Do you keep channel?
Yeah, I do journal. I do journal, and
Nice.
I think as part of my journal, one thing I've also started journaling about is what I'm grateful for.
Nice.
Yeah, I try to write gratitude, uh, a bullet point of what I'm grateful for as part of my journaling.
That's
And I
nice.
think going back to read them when as I've started doing them, it sort of it gave me goosebumps because then I realized how much of things that has happened in the course of the year
Yeah,
that I've
That happened to me
that
as
I've,
well.
I've that I'm really grateful for. And if not that I've been writing them down, I would have forgotten about them. But going
Yeah.
back to read them refreshes my memory and renews my appreciation for those things.
Yeah. That is really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I read about read about what the book I've written for myself, I actually think, oh, this guy is this guy is quite smart. Sometimes I'll think like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting to have a just like a third person to see yourself, that kind of stuff.
And maybe we raise one more point before we finish for today. Um, One more thing that I would like to talk about is, raising a child as an immigrant
Hmm.
in the UK. I mean, raising a child, you want your child to know a bit more about your culture. At the same time, you still want to raise them also to be British.
Hmm.
And sometimes, because a lot of the people they see and talk to every day are British,
Yeah.
you can sometimes be conflicted by asking yourself, is it really worth still teaching them about your own culture too? When this is their new life now, and this is all they may get to really associate with. I don't know what are your thoughts about that, or if I'm making sense.
Yeah, I understand. So, I would say, I would try to let them know about our culture in Hong Kong, but I'm not quite sure if they they would love it. But I would definitely try to let them know about it, because I find there there's always pros and cons in different cultures. So yeah, I think you can you can take a lot of good stuff in every culture. So I would say that there will be good stuff in every culture. So I would say a good mentality is to be flexible, is to pick whatever is useful in every culture. So I would definitely teach the, let's say, the work ethics, or being efficient, that kind of stuff, to them, or I don't know, whatever is good in a Hong Kong culture to them, and I definitely want them to learn about Cantonese, which is
Yeah.
what we speak in Hong Kong, because I think it is way easier for me to express in mother tongue. Yeah, because I'm still not very comfortable with English, although I think I'm way better than 3 years ago, but still not that kind of level. Still a long way to go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I am hoping that I will be able to teach my child my culture, as long as raised out to be British, and because I think a large part of me still associates with my culture, and I think for my child to really know me and fully get to understand the essence of who I am,
Mm.
it will be good for them to also understand some form of my culture, and that way they get to actually understand some other things about me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, it is pretty important to fill this gap as an immigrant, to have the second generation. There will be conflicts, but hopefully we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Still early on to talk about it, I think.
Yeah. 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 Still early days. Yeah. Early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are my initial thoughts for this night. Really.
Yeah,
I don't
very
know if
cool.
there's any other topic you would like to brush over.
Yeah, we'll save it for next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed this. I think I want to do this again.
Cool. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to do this again. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast, and
No, thank you so
it's
much.
been really great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know what? I think you are the first one for me to mention that I will make a podcast, and you said
Yeah.
you was excited, which makes me excited as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
half year passed, and yeah, I'm very grateful for your appreciation and your encouragement for me to do the
Yeah.
podcast
You're
as well.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
thank you
for
for
the
coming.
invite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see next time. So good night.
Yeah. See you next time. Bye for
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
cheers.
Take care.
Yeah, take care.